Hello, how's the day going for you? Wherever time it is, wherever you are. I don't have my face cam working today. That's not really important. But what I want to talk about is my Neovim workflow or my Neovim configuration. I'll have you know, I've been using Vim for 2 years now, but that doesn't mean I was actually good at using Vim. I just use Vim as a text editor because one time my laptop blew up and I had to use an older laptop which was like Core i3 with 4 gigs of RAM and everything was so slow, so I just deleted Windows and installed Ubuntu on it. And installing VS Code with all the extensions I had felt so laggy. Then I decided to learn Vim Motions and just use Vim directly like that. And then I kind of learned about Vim RC file and all of that. Then just this one day I was in a GitHub, I'm not in GitHub, I was in a Discord chat, in a CSGO Discord chat, a Counter Strike Discord chat. And someone went through my GitHub file and saw my Vim config and they told me, oh, this is very bare bones. That I should use something called Neovim and I should bind JK to escape and all these other things. Then for Neovim, I installed Neovim. I just took someone's configuration online. Like I literally went to, I tweeted about all of this. I think I'll put the screenshot of the tweets on the screen. I took someone's configuration online and I just went with it. I didn't know what was going on underneath the hood. I just knew, oh, the guy already binding JK to escape. These are his keybinds, and these are the plugins he has installed already. I just went with the flow, but I couldn't change anything. I couldn't change anything. Then in school, I started working on, I think it was a Python project, but I didn't have an LSP to for like auto completion and just to guide me while I code in Python. Plus, I was learning Python as well. And then I decided, okay, how do I install LSPs on this configuration? But I was stuck because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do at all. Then I decided to switch from that person's configuration to this was the first time I actually met Teach Dev. Then I took Teach configuration and just installed it directly like that as well without looking at the code or reading anything about it. I used that for more than a year plus because I used it throughout my school. If I try to change anything in the configuration, I just give it to AI. Or sometimes when I have like crazy problem, I call my junior brother Fuad just to bail me out of this rabbit hole I found myself in. And just recently, I would say 2 months ago, I upgraded my Neovim to 0.11. I think. I don't know what's the latest version, but 0.11 introduced like breaking changes to some of the old plugins I was using. And the issue with that was my favorite command wasn't working properly. So my favorite command is anytime I'm on a function, I just press GD, which means go to definition, or GR. That's the keybind for it. I go to the reference or go to the implementation of this. And it kept showing like an error message on that. That error message kept bugging me. Like sometimes it works, sometimes GD doesn't work. But it kept bugging me and I tried to like configure teach config which I like just copied from YouTube. But I was just lost. I didn't know what Lua is. Like I know Lua is a programming language, but I didn't even know how to read like the Lua code and stuff. Like, okay, what is this? Then I asked my brother about his own Vim configure and he told me, oh, like he like broke down everything into like folders and he understands everything the code is doing. And I thought to myself, why not just, learn about Neovim itself, like learn Lua. So I went to learn Lua in X minutes or in Y minutes. That's com. And then I got to learn about Lua, how to create functions, and this thing called the data structure is basically called tables. And yeah, I spent one weekend learning that. Then after that, I went to Lua for Neovim documentation. I kind of like read through most of it. Most of it, I say, most of it, just like the basics. Then after that, I decided to, okay, let me like remake Teach config, the one I had initially. But the problem is I didn't even understand what most of the things were. Like what are most of these languages and Vim? Like sure I use Vim, and because I use Vim, like I know what an LSP is, I know what the telescope is, because I know what they do because I use them, but I don't know how to configure them or how to even get them in the first place. Then I stumbled upon this course called Neovim for Noobs by Typecraft. I would say that's my favorite course so far. It's my favorite course so far. But that course like took me from the basics of what is Neovim, how do we install Neovim, what is a package manager, no, a package manager, why we need to install a package manager, and what is Mason? Basically, I can't remember what Mason was, but I know I use Mason to install many things. Then what is Telescope? Who created Telescope? Then I got to understand why I always saw like Folky's name everywhere. What is color schemes? Like various things. And then the most important part was how to break down files. How to break down your files. So after like going through that course, though during the course too as well, I was most of it just like walk through like it made most of the configuration as well, and you could like code along with it, but I was understanding what I was writing, and I made it more fun. So it got to one part of the course, which was to install LSPs, and Typecraft did something very smart. It said this part of the course is not free, it's for paying customers. But I was like, oh God, you're giving me so much value already. Like, I don't mind paying. And I just bought the course, which was 5 USD, but I'm in Canada, so it's about 13 Canadian dollars after tax. And after that, I got to learn more about Neovim. I don't use the debugger tools, so I didn't bother to install the debugger plugin, which was where the course ended. Then that now leads us to my Neovim config, which I will start showing you right about now. So the first thing you notice is my dashboard, which basically is just my name, shows my recent files, shows projects I'm working on, and here's some other like tools here. So let's just start with the let's just start at the beginning, which actually let's start at the readme. Let's start the readme file. Okay, so I'll have to increase the size of my, yeah, let me just increase this so everyone sees it clearly, and let me change the color scheme to capuchin. Capuchin is fine. Capuchin. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, I was reading through Lua for I was reading through Lua for mvim config, which basically just talks about um using Vim configurations in Lua, like implementing Vim configurations in Lua. And yeah, after like going through that, I just like made some of these examples here for me. So just in case next time, like when I have a problem with Vim and I've forgotten how it works in Lua, I just come to my README here to see what I've written about it. So I wrote basic things like how to break down your files, um, what require is in Lua as well. But yeah, that's just by the way. Let's go for it. Oh yeah, and auto commands actually very important as well. Auto commands is very important. But that's by the way. So let's now go to init.lua, which I mentioned earlier. I used lazy package manager. So and lazy package manager, lazy that yeah, the documentation already has the documentation as the website has the documentation for breaking down files and explaining how to do that. I just copied all this from the website, and oh fuck. Okay, let's move this away from here. So I could leave it here. Let's just move this away from here. Okay. me see options. Okay. Okay. So I'll come back. I'll come back to this. I'll come back to this. So this is Lua, and it has a lazy config. So after the lazy config, what I need to do immediately is require the lazy, and that's to call the configuration and call my plugins. So then analysis to my plugins. I put my plugins in Lua file in plugins. So all my plugins are here. All my plugins are here. I don't need this file anymore, so I'll just delete this to yes. So all my plugins are here, and let's start with what plugin should we start? Yeah, let's start with the important one, which is Mason. No, do I have Mason here? Okay, no, let's start with Telescope then. I can't remember where Mason was. So Telescope just basically like help me find things, help me find files and stuff like that. But let's see. I'm looking for something interesting. Hmm. I'll get back to Snacks. Snacks is my favorite plugin here. And I don't use dashboard anymore as well, so I'll delete this. Yeah, and okay. So the LSP configuration is where I have Mason installed. So this as well, you see my configuration. I have like this docs everywhere. So if I just grab docs, I have these docs everywhere. So yeah, basically basically just point to the GitHub for the configuration itself. So I get to like read through the documentation whenever I get stuck later in the future, and that like helps me enable the LSP I need. So right now I mostly work with front end codes, which is basically TypeScript, React, JavaScript. So I only just enable like ensure installed Lua LS and CSLS. All of this is in the configuration. Then I have keybinds for it, like my keybind here, which is for in normal mode. This is in normal mode and in visual mode. Then we have leader CA, which is basically show me the code actions, and RN, which is to rename buffer, but I don't use really as much. So let's see what other config do I have here that's important. Yeah, I just go to snacks. Snacks is like the most important configuration I have here. So this snacks plugin is actually like the best plugin, because snacks enables animate, enables this big file, enables every plugin here you can find in the options. It enables all these plugins. So let me now take you through my workflow. So let's say I saved all my file now, and I want to commit this. Like I want to stage this. I want to stage my changes. So I keybinded leader LG to open LazyGit, and that is here in this wait, where's LazyGit? LazyGit. Oh yeah. So that is here. 1 second. LazyGit. Oh, okay. I didn't make a config. Yeah, but that's here. Just LazyGit, and it uses this tool. 1 sec. Okay. So LazyGit is a CLI tool that basically like helps you like basically just helps you with your Git workflow. That's what LazyGit is about. So I binded it with snacks, and so now let me config the changes I've made, which is leader LG, which I binded to that. I press spacebar to add them to stage the files. Then I press C to commit, remove redundant shit, and then I shift P to push to main, and I press 4 to come to my previous commits, and you could just like read through your commits and stuff like that. Then Q to quit that, then leader FF to find files. I have leader FF to find files. Then once feature I use a lot on Neovim as well is I always like splitting screens. So I binded leader V to split vertically. 1 sec. I binded leader V to split vertically, and leader S, yeah, to split horizontally. so and later execute them, so let me now let's now go to let me see, let's go to and I bind leader fp to show like my project. So let's say I want to work on my portfolio project, which is this right now. I let me just have page.tsx. So I could start from here. Then I have this plugin from Snacks as well, which I bind to leader T, which just shows me every to do I have. So I could like jump to a to do and I know it is there. So I bind leader T again. I go to a different to do and I try to work on that. What other plugin do I use importantly? Oh yes. So remember I mentioned GD. Wait, I mentioned using GD and GR, which was one of the breaking changes that made me switch to that made me actually like decide to learn how to use Lua and how to configure my Neovim. So let's say I am on a function or yeah a component here. I just GD to go to the definition of that component, which is basically this. What other thing can I talk about? Oh yeah. So we have a Mason, which is basically that shows all of this. It shows all the languages and LSP I have installed as well as the linter. And what other thing? Oh yeah, I have command CA for code action. Oh, I have command CS to show like color schemes I want that I have installed already. But let me just leave it as groove box like this. What else here? So one sec. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Okay. Find files. So let me now take you to my key maps, which is basically I actually like made a markdown file, a documentation of all the key maps I have already. So I think we could just read through that. So I have JK for escape, which is normal, and window splitting, which I mentioned earlier, leader V, which is basically command. Actually, this is the acronym performs actually. So I have all of this. Then you know, oh yeah, this is also an important configuration as well. Windows navigation and Tmux integration. So I use a plugin called, let's see here, space FF. What was this plugin called again? Tmux. Yeah. So it's this configuration basically lets you integrate, basically let you use Control HJKL to move between your Tmux pins as well as your Vim pin as well. Yeah, which was very important because actually a pain in the ass like navigating through Tmux and through Neovim whenever I split my window. Let me split my window with Tmux right now. So this is Tmux. I have my terminal here on Tmux. But before, like, I could just navigate with Control HJK to Neovim because of this plugin, and that wasn't like easy before without like trying to like make a arc or something like that. So sema X. Oh, one sec. Okay, let's go through something else. Oh yeah. So leader like opens the buffer I have already. So leader and space actually just opens the files I have open, which is the buffers. I have leader N is basically is my file explorer. No VS Code, you have it on the right. So let me show the plugin I use for that as well. Oh, it's still snacks. It's still snacks for what you call it. Yeah, it was yeah, well, no, it wasn't quick file. I can't remember. I think it was quick file. Yeah, it was quick file and it was also explorer. But snacks like enables that, so you could just read through the snacks documentation to enable that as well. And I made it show in the center. I made it show in the center because I don't like it being on the side. I just like it being in the floating window. Just like it being in the floating window. So leader N brings out my file explorer. What else? Leader FF is to find files. FC is to actually find config. I binded this, but I don't use it every time. Then FP is the one I use sometimes. Just so I just open them anywhere, then I can just cd to that directory immediately with this stuff, which is find project. And I also have leader FR, which is to find recent files. but I don't use that. I just do FF mostly, which is find files. There's one more that's meant to be here, but I didn't put it here. I put it under grep. So which is leader FG, help me like find anything through file. I call it file grep. That's why I marked it to leader FG. It's just to find anything within a file, to find text within a file. So let's say I have cat pushing somewhere. I don't know how to spell cat pushing. So like it shows me all the place that has cat pushing map to it. What else? Then I have leader, yes, leader and forward slash. Let me split my screen to explain that. So if I press leader and forward slash in a file, it's basically pressing Control F in a GUI application, and I'm just searching for something, and like it shows, it like fuzzy finds them here, like fuzzy finds wherever I search for, yeah, then it goes to it. So let's say let me search for insert, let me pick this, and then it scrolls to that. So that's basically why I binded leader slash to it. Then let's say I have multiple files open, but I don't want to grep through all my files. I only want to grep through the files that I have open. I use the leader forward slash, which basically just grep through my buffers. And this one I don't use a lot. Leader forward slash W. I saw it in the documentation, and I was like, yeah, let me just add it. Maybe one day I may find it useful, but I don't. So speaking of being a noob at Neovim, I haven't been using registers a lot. But I'll get to learn registers and macros. Those are the two things I feel like I should learn as a Neovim user. Then that brings us to Git. One sec. That brings us to Git. So I have leader GB that just shows me my Git branches, but I really don't use, since I use lazy Git right now. But all of them, like Git files, Git status. Oh, it's leader.js. One sec. Never mind. Oh yeah, I haven't made any changes, so there's no Git status showing. Git stash. Oh come on. I haven't stashed. I haven't used Git stash before. My Nigerian brother told me about it. GD, which is just show me the difference in whatever I'm doing. But the important one I use is lazy git, which is right here. Lazy git. I enjoy using lazy git. Just makes life easy. Then these are the key maps I have for going through when I'm on a function. I just go to the definition, I jump to it. I don't really use G whatever this is. I don't really go to declaration, but I use GDGR a lot. Sometimes use GT, but it's not really needed, since I could just like unbuff over it with Shift K. The code actions I use for, let's say I type a code and I forgot to import it, but I haven't configured automatic import of some files, so I just like code action and it brings it out for me, stuff like that. Then on each file, so let's actually, I want to demonstrate this, but okay, yes, I could demonstrate this. So let's go here. So let's go here actually. So let's say I'm here and wait a second. So that is leader Q and leader E. So I have diagnostics that shows the whole project diagnostics, and I also have for the current file buffer I map to leader E. So let's go back here. No, not this one. No. Yeah, yes. So once I press leader Q, like, okay, I don't have any current diagnostics at the moment, but okay, I'll just leave that. Basically, like, let's say you type your code and there are some issues on some lines, and LSP is showing you these diagnostics. If it's just for a single file you're working on, I just press leader E, then I like go through the line that has that diagnostics. But if I'm working on a project, I could just press leader Q to handle all the diagnostics I have on in my project as well, which is basically that binding. Then what else do I have? Yeah, all these are just like self-explanatory stuff. Oh, okay. So this ones I copied from configurations, which is leader sh. That shows you documentations of whatever you need, like basically like help, search for help page. Then leader SK, it just like shows me my key maps in case I forget sometimes. And there's leader SM, yeah, just man page, but I haven't used it, so I don't even know if it's working. Uh, oh, 1 sec. Okay, yeah. And there's quick fix. There's all of this, but oh yeah, undo history. Okay, I haven't used this plugin before, but this is actually cool. This is actually cool stuff. Okay, that's leader SU. Then let's say I'm in a file, and especially when I'm working on like front end on like TypeScript or JavaScript stuff, and I just want to install a new package manager like npm package. So I just lead that TT and it opens my terminal for me, and I could just, you know, do whatever I want that way. So that's like it opens like a small window of terminal on my screen. That's what leader TT is for. And so yeah, to do management is leader T. It's also a snacks plugin which just finds to do for you. Let's go back here. Snacks. I think to do was here. Yeah. Um to do. Yeah. It was is this plugin. So it's to do comments basically. It works with Telescope, yeah. So this part is actually important. So that's why I banded leader T to it. And it works on these keywords to do arc1 pref nodes tests. But that's basically that. Then yeah, for appearance, because I like changing color schemes a lot. Though I use Groovebox as the default. Do I change it sometimes because I like the cat pushing, or but whatever, it doesn't really matter because I have a transparent terminal background, so it doesn't really matter. But every time I'm working on the file, I could just like change the color scheme on the fly, something like that. But yeah, let me just leave it with this. And then you just have, oh, on the dashboard. Dashboard is basically, you know, I mean, this is my dashboard which I configured. So if I press F, it basically like finds file. If I press N, it does all of that shit. Let me exit this. Then this is one I started using recently, like a lot, which is ZA. So I'm going to show you another file here, which is Vim options. And yes, let's search for folding. So I'm using I think it's called expression, but that's the folding method I saw on Telescope. You see it on Telescope documentation, and this is to enable folds to use oh, I said Telescope 3-seater. Yeah, 3-seater. That's very, very important. And there's something about fold levels and some other configurations you can adjust. But I basically ZA to like fold files, ZA like folds the line. Yeah, and yeah, the rest are self-explanatory. And yeah, and my leader key is space is my leader key. I have auto pairs installed. Oh yes, auto pairs. So auto pairs works just for, like, let's say you type in this, it auto pairs it for you. But I also have one more thing installed, tags. Yeah. So this one. So I always have this issue when I'm working on JSX or TSX files, which is basically, oh, I have a component, but I want to comment, and JavaScript comment is this. Yeah, JavaScript comment is that, but JSX comment is this. So every time I GCC or GC on a particular line, it doesn't comment it with JSX comments, but it comments it with JavaScript comment, and that also pissed me off. So I found this plugin through AutoPairs documentation. They shouted out TS auto tag, so I just installed. And installing configuration is just as easy as creating the file and returning a table, which is basically this. And wait, because we have plugins, set up plugins enabled here, so everything found in this plugins file works. And as for just why I broke down snacks again is, so these snacks are like configuration. So okay, wait, let me show you. So we have snacks and we have dashboard. We have dashboard key Lua. But the reason why I broke them down is if it comes to snacks, snacks here, which is this. You see, like, so some of them I like require them. So I'm basically because the configuration is long and I don't want to put them here like to litter this file. So I put them in a different file. I put them in a different file. Yes, I just GD to come to this file. I put them in a different file and I return them. And then once you require, it caches to the buffer and it's there on Pika and stuff like that. So that's that. And formats on save. Actually, I need to show that as well. I think that's for my non-ls configuration. So I use non-ls configuration. I don't know why I use it, but I use it because you can like pick the formatter you want and you can also edit the settings of the formatter as well. So and then I copied this autosave format from, see, I had to put the wiki because I don't remember, but just for me to remember in the future I always try to put like documentation or wiki in my code for things like I copied online and don't understand fully how it works, but I know it uses auto group and uses the buffer and stuff. I tried to write it myself, but I wrote something very wrong, and yeah, since the code is available online I just use that. So that's the auto. And highlight on Yak are just basically my vim options, highlights. Nah, that's this one. Then there's this my highlight on Yank code. I copied this one from Siege configuration online. Yeah. Oh fuck. One sec. I don't know how this works. Okay. What else here? Oh, mouse support. Basically, my Vim options and relative lines in my Vim options. So these are just mouse support and relative search, a relative line. Yeah, relative number. Basically this. Okay. Yeah, there goes. Oh, one sec. Okay. Mm, keep. Okay, there goes my Vim workflow. I didn't show much, but I kind of like explain my thought process about it. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.